Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, this project is quite unique because I'm not the occupant, I'm not the renter, I'm not the owner, I'm completely independent from this house. I'm here essentially as an energy advocate, and I took the opportunity. I don't know if many people work in a job where you can apply for grants. Anyone apply for grants to do your job? You know, yeah, well, a lot of the time you have to be a community group, not-for-profit, not out to seek benefit for yourself, but this grant from SA Power Networks, the new inaugural Kelvin Trimper Scholarship, allowed individuals to apply for a bit of money to do some work around energy advocacy. So I got a grant from SAPN, who I thank very much for this, and used a EOI, expression of interest process, to ask for tenants and landlords to put their names forward to kind of go in with their eyes open or eyes closed, to go along with the process of doing an assessment to a home and seeing what the framework spits out and recommendations, then going along with it with a limited budget. So yeah, as Ken was saying, this is the only SHD home open featuring a rental in Australia, I believe. This is the header that I used when I was sending emails out to a bunch of stakeholders trying to get people. I had 4 applications in at the end of landlords and tenants, more tenants than landlords, if you would believe. You believe. And these pictures are very idealistic. I found them on Canva. Probably not what your typical retrofit looks like. So the process was that I went in and did a scorecard assessment. Hands up if anyone knows what a scorecard assessment is. There's 3, 2. So new homes have to go through a NatHERS process, National Home Energy Rating System. It gives you a star rating. You've seen the certificate on a couple of slides. It's got an arch with some stars in it. The more stars, the better. Same with a scorecard, but this framework has been created by the Victorian government, and the intention is that you go into an existing home, however old it is, and you look at the fixed energy appliances and the thermal construction of the home and aim to do the same thing, give it a star rating. So 1 being really poor, 10 being really good. You can't get more than 8 without solar. Between 8 and 10, it's how much solar you've got on the roof. It's a pretty good system for what it does. It's national. There's about 160 assessors Australia-wide now. And the amazing thing is it's being picked up by some, I guess, industries that are really boosting it. So if you want a green loan, if you've got an existing home and you want a green loan, you need to get a scorecard rating, unless it's relatively new and you've got a good NatHERS assessment. So it's building. It spits out some recommendations. Once we've done the walkthrough, we've been there for 2 or 3 hours, spits out recommendations: increase your ceiling insulation, increase your wall insulation, add thicker curtains, decrease drafts, that kind of thing. They're really non-specific, and it's up to the assessor that's gone into the home to say it's the weather stripping at the base of your door, it's the thicker curtains on that west-facing window to increase the star rating. So I looked at the list of scorecard recommendations, and then because the person living there is a renter, we thought of a few more things that weren't being that we couldn't model on the system, but we added a few more in as well. I'll go through them. I've got some photos. So once we got the list agreed to with the tenant and the landlord, we developed the scope of works and then sought quotes. So that was quotes to, and all the work was scheduled and completed in 2 months. So the ceiling installation was literally done yesterday. I paid the invoice this morning. Yeah, that's, thank you. The benefits about the house: it had a small footprint, it's 102 square metres internally, so we measure internal spaces, we don't include wall space, so it could be, on paper, when you're selling it on real estate, it's probably 120, but it's 102 of internal measured space. It's got a climate resilient space, so this is the north-facing part of the house. At the back, south-facing, it's got living, kitchen, dining, laundry, toilet area. You can section off with a small reverse cycle. It means that you can be climate resilient, so you can be living in that space in really hot and really cold days if the rest of the house is not able to be occupied and it's not comfortable. A very engaged occupant. So alongside the interventions that I worked on, he also bought himself a hot water heat, not a hot water heat pump, a heat pump clothes dryer, and he paid for solar to go on the roof of the house. That's not something the project covered. So that intention there is he's going to stay there for quite a while, and he's expecting to get his return on investment, so the value of what he's paid for that solar back within the time that he's going to be there. And I have seen that a lot when people are planning on being in a property for a long time, especially in social and community housing. There's a lot of people that want to put solar on if they're there for a while. They had low-cost heating and cooling already, so that small reverse cycle out the back. Oh gosh, I've not got through half of it, sorry. And evaporative ducted. And really good shading, so that's the north at the front of the house. So what did we do? The easiest one, they had one gas appliance left, an instant gas hot water system. We replaced it with a hot water heat pump. So there's a before, there's some afters. We had to move the outdoor unit for the reverse cycle because we needed the floor space for the hot water heat pump. So there was a lot of unexpected cost in getting an electrician to come in and move that. But it's not all easy sailing. This is during. Was there a drain underneath where we wanted to put the heat pump that could comply with South Australian legislation? If it wasn't there, where else could it go? We did lots of mock-ups, lots of schematics. We ended up going with a 180 litre heat pump because the larger sizes wouldn't fit in the space. The 180 litre only needed, I think it was 700 millimetres each way, whereas a larger heat pump needed a metre each way. Turns out there was a drain where we wanted to put it originally, so we went backwards and forwards for like 2 weeks before the plumber actually came and said, oh yeah, you're fine. So that's a lesson learnt, that you just need to get your trades in to scope out the work really early on, just to see, you know, instead of reading all this stuff and, you know, theorising and getting yourself stressed out, just get the trades in, get them to tell you what needs to be done. What else did we do? Because he's a renter, we did some rental-focused elements. Got 1 minute to go. I'm in business as an assessor with Dan. We've got a table at the back. I've got some of the stuff on the table that we can talk about. But we got a product called wren shading, because as tenants you can't put external blinds and, you know, plant trees that are going to grow in 10 years for shading. So we tried a product called wren shade, which does an internal shading. It's a perforated mesh. We had a thermal, well, I've got a thermal camera, and we actually proved that so the wren shades just on the door panels, it's pretty much as effective as a lockout blind and external shade combination. So that was really great to know that if you're in a rental and you've got a heat load coming through glazing, you can buy 5 square metres of this stuff for $100 plus postage and handling. And have just as effective outcome as if you were spending a couple $100 or thousands of dollars on shading. We topped up the ceiling insulation and tidied it. It was about R1.5. It was in pretty good shape, but a bit dusty and a bit uneven, so Cozy Wrap came in, they tidied it up. They realised that some of the ductwork had kind of fallen apart over the years. They tidied that up as well. Really cost-effective way of increasing ceiling insulation, doing that. And they also installed some draft stopper top hats over the exhaust fans in the bathroom, so that reduces the amount of air leakage through the wet areas there. The tenant, he was really engaged, so he was the one that actually cut and installed the wren shade. I bought some draft sealing tape for the doors and some weather stripping for the bottom of the doors. So he installed all that himself. It's really easy to do DIY. And on Sunday, we're going to be having all that stuff for you guys to come and look and touch and feel and see as well. Learnings and results is that most houses have got useful assets, so embrace it and get someone in to have a look at your house and point out what they are if you're not quite sure. I think some people buy houses and move into them, or rentals even, and go, oh, this is crap, it doesn't look good. And you just want to do wholesale changes to it. But take it slow and steady, get the right advice and schedule things in. So scope all your work before you start and get expert advice to sequence it correctly. We had a little mishap where I wasn't talking to the tenant. I live an hour away from the house. The house is in Brompton. I knew he was getting quotes for solar, but it went in anyway, and we only had one little space left in the meter box. So that meant that instead of getting the meter box replaced, switchboard replaced to encompass all the changes we needed, we ended up with a little one and a little housing. But yeah, we probably should have talked to each other a bit more, but that's fine. It's not a bad outcome. It's behind the laundry door, so you don't notice it. And the results were before the scorecard was 6.6 stars, and then after it was 10 because it had solar. The average house in Australia, by the way, is 3. Yeah. So that's average. The house is 6.6, it's small, and it's got efficient appliances. This was the costings. It's cut off a little bit at the bottom, roughly. rounded up to hundreds, so cost around $7,500, and this house should cost nothing to run ongoing. Thanks.